there. Okay, we are live. So welcome back, everyone, to another town hall. Got a good crowd today. John, did I just hear you? Do you have audio going now?
I do now, yes.
All right, okay. So yeah, we've got a number of folks here with us. Jesse Robinson, welcome. Now you look familiar.
Yes.
I've talked to you before, haven't I?
Yeah, last week was my last, I think my first.
Yes. Okay. Sorry for my poor memory, but it's wonderful to have you back with us and other familiar faces too. Same to Alexander, who we haven't had with us for a while. Really good to have you with us again. And Ward, and got all kinds of folks here that I haven't seen for a while. So let's go ahead and pull up some notes here and we'll dive into it. Let me just get my windows a little organized before I share my screen. And we have a lot to talk about. Okay, share screen. There we go. All right. Oh, we don't have Sarah though today. So
I just messaged her.
Okay. If anyone is able to help with notes, please feel free to jump in. Otherwise, I'll do my best until she gets here. Oops. Just get names down and then we'll move on. Did I get the spelling right? Yeah, Ward, Holloway. Let's see, John Schull, Alexander. I'm not even going to try the last name. And okay. There we go. All right. Rick, action items. Rick was going to begin sending out chapter audit emails to individual chapter leaders in their native languages. Have you started that process, Rick? I know it's been the holidays. You're muted. You're still muted. No, you're not muted, but we're not hearing you. Maybe check which input device is selected. Make sure your headphones are not plugged in if you don't want them to be. All right, we'll come back to Rick on that. Next one was for me to add links to important templates in the getting started section of the main wiki, which I haven't gotten to yet. I want to make some updates there to make those templates more readily findable because they're just buried in our code of conduct right now. So I will do that, haven't yet. Don't have any special guest presentations on the horizon. That got moved there. Okay. And I did not put in the metrics from today. I just realized. Let me see. I should have those here. Sorry, just didn't put them in here. So here's the week's metrics. Just at a glance, it looks pretty typical to me. We got our new e-NABLE fund balance updated. Thank you, Evan. We're sitting
Evan.
Pretty healthy balance there for the year. It's a great way to start off, and we have some important projects to do. So I hope to see it put that to good use.
Hello, Jeremy.
Oh, we hear you. Yeah. Okay.
So sorry. I have an update.
Okay. How's it going?
We've got this slick little program that we're using.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And one of the problems I think we have is that we typically have at least, in some cases, 3 emails for each chapter.
I figured that would be an issue. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a chapter email. We have a leader email.
So are you just sending it to all of them or what?
No. I'm buzzing through all 3.
One at a time?
No, the program does it. It goes through and it will concatenate together anything non-different. So if one chapter only has 1 email, they'll get 1.
Right.
If they have 3, it'll send all 3. But what's really neat is the email has all the information about the chapter in it.
Right.
So the email itself has every single item that they can double check. And
now Rick, there was one thing I wanted to check with you because I was looking at our spreadsheet, and we have these different tabs. It almost looked to me like you're making your updates on the form responses tab. And I think you're supposed to be making your updates on the filtered tab. I don't
think that's true.
So what is the filtered tab for then?
If you click on just go into the filtered, go up and click on anything you want. Somebody has those 2 separate spreadsheets. There's the Garcia's page and the filtered. And if you click on any of the things, there's actually somebody wrote some little test And you'll see that each one has an if then else if you go in there, I believe.
So have you changed anything? Like, I know you disabled a chapter that wanted to be closed. You did that on the form response tab, and did you verify that it disappeared from the map?
It did.
Okay, then you've got it right. Then that's the right tab.
So yeah, the filtered, I believe people were putting different, I believe the filtered and I believe the Gracias, I believe those are something somebody stuck in there.
So we should probably just delete those so that we don't have.
Yes, I can tell you the Gracias page is obsolete. Take a glance at it, see if there's anything you want to.
Yeah, I didn't want to delete them and have that be something that Mastiff or somebody is using. I just left them there, but
we've got 239 rows of data in our main one, and Greece's has 218. So clearly it's older, and I don't see anything different in here. I'm just going to delete it. You know, in case of emergency, Google Sheets always keeps a revision history anyway.
Now, I also did a backup on New Year's Eve. So we have a backup that is from day one.
And I'm going to do the same.
I am using form responses because it just works.
Oh, of course. That's where the form responses go to also when somebody fills out form. So that one I'm leaving as is. And
our template, I know we're not supposed to touch. I believe that's
exactly. That's where the code is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that just stays.
I'm not going, I'd like to put a freeze on this for chapters for at least 2 weeks.
Meaning what? Not adding new chapters?
Yeah.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, why is that?
Because if I could add it to both my code that's going out and doing the solicitation to each of the chapters, but I hate to have it get out of sync.
Well, but if somebody submits a badge request for a new chapter and they go through the approval process and they submit their evidence, they've essentially already been audited, so they don't need to go into your program.
Yeah, but it's a tracking mechanism that'll go into place, and it's separate from this spreadsheet because I don't want to contaminate this spreadsheet. It's separate.
All right.
And I'm doing that on purpose because I want this to be standalone. I'm doing mine stuff externally to this because if you remember, we broke this thing at one point.
No, that's fine. I would just say then if you get any submissions for new chapters, just be sure to respond to them and let them know there's going to be a delay that we're doing something. Then that's fine.
I will. Yeah. I figure in 2 weeks I'll have a pretty good feel, and I don't foresee. I just did one that I just put in, so we're up to date from right now. But
excellent, good progress. Thank you. All right, so then we're making forward movement on our chapter audit. That's excellent. Posts of note for the week. Let's see. I think these came from last time. Since we don't have Sarah here, this is not up to date, so we're going to skip that for now.
She will be coming soon.
Okay, no problem. Summary of recurring e-NABLE meetings. This one I didn't update like I should have. Is Bionic still coming up next?
It's coming up today, and
it is? Okay.
My understanding is that I'm helping to host it because the normal host isn't available today, so I'm going to help with Sarah on that.
All right,
that's
excellent.
Correct. In fact, I think we are featuring your presentation.
I was going to say, I hope you will share some of what you showed us. Yes.
We've got some pretty interesting stuff. What I did is I went out and I found some question and answer sites that I'm going to point people to, and also some calculators, things of that nature where people can, I think people don't quite understand that servos, the ones that, are used in hands and such, you're talking, those things don't even talk in pounds. They talk in ounces. They really don't move a great deal of weight or have a lot of power. So I'm just going to direct people to some documentation on how you can calculate it, how you can, there are different kinds, of course. There's big industrial ones, but I don't think that will ever be put on an arm. But there's just some good sites out there where people have done this.
I think that's a great idea.
Put it together, and it'll give them a place to just go and research it.
That sounds like one I need to see. I will do my best to be there. I got to move.
If you're not there, I'll send you email.
Yes, I will definitely at least watch the recording. Thank you. Okay, let's take a look at other events coming up. I don't recall I think we have that in the wiki here. Let's see. Sure enough, January 2023. Although, let's see, how do we change the order of these? I think we can just drag. Yeah, so let's move that up. There we go. All right, January events. published. Okay, so we have a Google Doc. Here we go. Nice and simple. Today, we just talked about Bionic Designs. Then we got our chapter leaders coming up next Monday. That's being hosted by John Schull. Anything special to share about your plans for that one, John?
No, there's a good chance because David Mazer now has pictures from Ukraine that we will do a series launch, but I want to see if we can't coordinate with e-NABLE Greece.
Excellent. Yeah, I was
Splints for
curious about that.
Ukraine project.
I saw his pictures and I'm curious, like, now are they going to say that they want to see something other than finger splints? Because that's all he showed in there. So we'll see. I hope we don't put him through too many hoops. You know, I think we should go ahead with it, but we'll see what they say. All right. So then we have the following Friday, next Friday, we've got the combined e-NABLE education and new member meetup. And we're going to have our guest as Nush, our intern right now, who's working on improving our device catalog by leveraging the NIH 3D Print Exchange. I know I'm looking forward to hearing about that. So, and then recurring Fridays, of course, we have this town hall. So I'm glad she's including those in this. We've never had those in the calendar of events before. I thought it was a really nice idea to include those in there. Thank you, Sarah. All right. So discussion topic. This one I think is closed at this point. Sarah shared some minor updates to how she's kind of focusing her time and activities and trying to streamline our monthly meetings and working on outreach and things like that. And so that all sounded wonderful. I don't think, in fact, we can probably just hide that one. Splints for Ukraine. We just got that update from John. We're going to work on getting that press release out now that we have photos. The Lumio voting process, it has been in voting mode for a week now, and we only have 7 votes. A little disappointing, but I made the mistake of starting the vote during the holidays, so my fault. Hoping to avoid having to do any kind of extension on this, I did send out a reminder through Lumio platform to all who have not yet voted, which is a nice little feature they offer. So I sent that this morning. Hopefully that'll trigger some more votes. I also put a comment on Sarah's post in the hub just to bump it up to the top, asking people to vote. So we will see what happens today, but we need at least 8 more votes to hit our minimum, and that closes in 3 days. So hope to see it get through. We need a little bit more attention on this.
And
it's not that nobody's opposed.
Jeremy, did you market this in the hub?
We asked Sarah to do that for us, and she did. And that's why I said I just this morning, I posted a comment on her post just so that it would bump to the top of the stream. So yeah, that's right in here now. Asking people to, and let me just make sure that's going to the right place, which I'm sure it is. Yeah, there we go. We got the vote. Excellent. Okay, so we'll see. You know, we need more votes, but so far everybody's in favor. We just need more people to chime in. So that's in progress with a few more days to run. If we don't have enough votes to hit a threshold, there will be a discussion, because there is a clause in here where, you know, we as the community coordination committee can do an extension if we feel it's justified. Now, I do feel there's no opposition to this proposal. It's just, I think, because we were in the holidays, that people haven't had enough attention on it. And so I would say this qualifies for an extension if we don't get enough votes, but let's see how it goes in the next few days. All right, so open tickets, let's see. I see there's a couple assigned to me here. I'm not sure if I saw these, Rick. Are these are things that you need my help with?
Well, we had one guy who he had ordered a kit.
Oh yeah, he's looking at materials. That's a question for me. Okay.
Yeah, and I didn't know how to respond to that, so I escalated it to you. It's probably
absolutely
too late now, though. And the other one I needed your help on too, because I wasn't sure what to do with it.
You know what? When you have these, what might be better? Oh, actually, I don't know if you can do this. Let me see. I wonder if you do this move. Do you see the other departments? Maybe check.
I don't think I do.
Okay, I know you don't have access to them, but I wonder if it would still let you move a ticket to them, because if you could move those kit related questions to 3D Universe, that would, because it is a 3D Universe related question essentially.
Yeah.
And I would see
how about
it more
if
quickly.
I can't, I just email you also.
That's fine.
If I can't do what you just said,
That would
I'll
be
send you an
fine, yeah.
email as well.
Or
And,
likewise, if you can always use our support at 3duniverse.org address, because again, that goes right into desk and those get seen more quickly than an email to me.
Yeah, we had quite a few today. Or this week. We had actually a lot of traffic.
Okay, so I need to help with that one and then change. Oh yeah, this is clearly a 3D universe question.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I didn't see that one soon enough, but hopefully they probably already reached out to us, but that's the kind of thing that, yeah, just forward that over to our 3D universe
I can
help
do
desk,
that.
and we'll take care of that right away for them. Okay, so I didn't see any other, how do I get back here?
No, pretty much everything.
Yeah, you're all up to date.
All caught up, except there was one that.
This is just a general question.
Yeah.
They were talking to the bot, so I'll let you get back to them and see if they have.
Well, I was at 9 this morning, so I haven't got that one yet.
Sure. Very nice. Thank you for staying on top of that as always.
Sorry, I'm sorry, I missed the Lumio.
Oh yeah. So we had a discussion just before the new year about just, we felt like there were some things that we needed to tweak with our Lumio voting process to avoid some problems, such as, it's written up in the proposal. Let me make sure you have the link here so you can go to that. Actually, I have it open here already. So I'm just going to put this in the chat for you and take a look. It's all, why didn't I get that? It's all detailed in the proposal, but we'll take a quick look here.
I think if I remember correctly, in November, we started discussing that. And
exactly. So we basically just finalized that. We kind of agreed on some guidelines. We want to have a discussion period prior to voting. We don't want the voting to be extended as, indefinitely until they get the votes that they want. We don't want people voting on their own proposals. We want to make sure that people are actually part of the e-NABLE community before they jump in and start voting. Right. And then the most important one probably was a change to how we calculate a passing vote, because in the past you can vote approve, agree, disagree, or abstain. Now in the past, the abstain votes were just not factored into the calculation at all. They were just ignored. And we decided that really didn't make sense. So now what we're proposing is that in order to, let's see, the current rules, blah, 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 so we propose that to be approved, each project proposal must receive at least 20 votes. And I forgot that we upped it. So we need quite a few more votes on this proposal. So we need 20 votes, because I think we should be going by our new guidelines here, ideally. And we need to have at least 80% of the total votes in support of the project. 10% or more disagree votes would require discussion in the town hall. Okay, so in other words, the abstain votes now do have an impact, because that changes the percentage of your agree votes, right? So you need to have 80% agreement. And so the agree votes and the disagree votes are both going to sort of detract from that. And what that also means now is that the sort of the percentages that they give here are now meaningful, because that's how they calculate those percentages. So as long as this agree number is 80% or more, and the total is, the total voters is 20 or more, we know the proposal will have passed. And so that's what the vote is. Read through the details, because that's not all of it. But it is running for a few more days. Yes.
I'm actually still not a member of the Lumio.
Oh, let's take care of that. Did you submit a request?
I did, yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead and check that right now.
So there's that, and I remember the only reason I'm bringing it up is I know there's, and this leads me to a couple of questions, because I don't know how many moderators are on the Discord channel.
Great.
I know Max was asking about the status of his Lumio request, and I said I
don't even see. Well, how do I get to that, John? I'm not even seeing that place where we approve member.
Well, we get alerts saying, for example, Jesse Robinson requested to join.
Yeah, but I thought there used to be somewhere I could go in here. Oh,
yeah,
here we go. Members. This is it.
Scroll down.
Members, and then we want requests. Here we go. Which one is you, Jesse? Let's see. There you are. There you go. You're in. John, could I ask you to handle the rest of these if you have a moment, so that I don't hold up our meeting here?
Well, sure. I see that there are a number stacked up, right?
There are. It looks like we've had a number that we haven't approved, so we need to try to stay on top of that. I don't know if I was supposed to be doing that, so I'll leave that to you. And you're in now, Jesse. Thank you for calling that to our attention.
Right. I mean, I requested yesterday, so it's not a big deal.
Okay, great. Hopefully those are people looking to vote on our proposal. And so if we get them in, that'll help a lot. Okay. So,
Adam Jennings had a question about the abstain. I think you addressed it a minute ago, but let's take a look at it.
See. Let me get back to the vote. Adam Jennings, I think some clarity is needed. Are changes to abstain votes as written? It's unclear whether the abstain option is being removed entirely or voting to stay will have some tangible impact. Yeah, okay, the latter is right, and I think I just addressed that. So let's see. As I understand, it simply increases the value of the denominator, total votes, to increase the threshold of agree. That's exactly right, Adam. Yes, it increases that denominator. So it's just they're not being ignored anymore. That's it. So there will still be an abstain option, but the voting abstain does impact the vote because you're increasing the total number of votes without increasing the percentage of agree. So you're actually decreasing the percentage of agreement. All right. So hopefully we'll get enough votes in the next few days to close that out.
There's one more. Johannes.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
What's that?
Johannes says blocking votes seems too punitive. Maybe a period of grace as a reminder before action, he says.
Well, we have that built in, I think. I mean, the period of grace is the fact that if anyone votes to block, all that does is it essentially puts the voting on hold until the next town hall meeting, wherein that person is expected to show up and have some discussion about their concerns. And we all collectively agree to either release the block and let the voting proceed or to cancel the proposal in its current form. So I don't see it as punitive. I see it as kind of a protective mechanism where if somebody feels really strongly about something, it forces a discussion before the voting can proceed. That's all. It doesn't actually
I think there's a language problem, which I'll respond to. I think he thinks that blocking votes means that we are going to block some votes, whereas in fact, the blocking vote is a vote that impedes the passage of the.
That's right. People can continue to vote. It just means you're blocking the conclusion of the voting process until a discussion can be had. That's all it means. You're blocking a final decision until we can talk some things over. Okay. Good stuff. On we go. Continuing education. Oh, no, I skipped the most important one, matching platform. Okay. I'm really hoping that we can make this a primary project for 2023. Most of you guys weren't here last time when we talked about this, but e-NABLE Web Central is on its last legs. I have no developers anymore. It is a very complex platform with lots of moving pieces. Eventually, some module is going to get updated, some standard is going to get changed, and it's going to break. And I'm not going to have anybody to fix it at that point. So it is on its last legs at this point. It's still working fine. We're still using it. It's still live. There's nothing wrong with it, but I can't make changes at this point. And if something does stop working, we're going to have a problem. So I really would like to see us move forward at this point on the new matching platform that we acquired from e-NABLE France. It seems like it really would work well for us, but we do have work to do. Most of the work that we have to do, I think, is content related in terms of updating the rest of the site, not the matching components, but just the content on the site to turn it into what could be our sort of primary e-NABLE landing page. And then working on translations. There's a lot, because my goal, the vision for this is that it would not only become the new sort of primary landing page to introduce people to e-NABLE and have all the primary, getting started resources and all that, but that it would also be fully multilingual. And by that, I mean, when they developed this in France, they built in multilingual capabilities and they have everything in both French and English. I would love to see our platform have French and English and Spanish and, all kinds of other, Chinese and German, whatever our top languages are. I'm sure we could identify statistically, the most popular languages in our community. And I would love to see us continue to add to those translations and become more and more globally friendly with that very important resource. That's going to take a team. That is not something I can do. I cannot even take the lead on it. I would certainly be happy to be part of a team, but there's a lot of work involved in this. So I'm kind of putting the call out there to just, see if we can start gathering interest and I guess I probably need to write something up on the hub for that, because I know we have all of what 4 or 5 people that watch these videos. But maybe for you guys, anyone you're talking to as you're out there interacting with others, keep this in mind. If you run into anyone that this seems like they might be a good fit for, please talk to them about it. Please send them my way. Let's see if we can start to get a group together to work on this. Any questions? I feel like I'm doing all the talking today. I'm sorry, guys.
It's okay. The team, I think the critical person for the team is going to be someone who can do the technical work. And that person is going to need skill with WordPress, right?
WordPress and PHP are the 2 key technologies.
Okay. So I think that's going to be the linchpin, is a good and reliable partner.
Well, I think that's what we need.
If we have that person, the rest of us can rally around that person.
We need that person first. And I think if it was even just me working with that kind of a technical resource, I think we could do everything needed to get the platform sort of set up, ready to launch, configured the way that we want it. Then I think we switch to a second effort, which is collecting a team of translators, because at that point, it becomes just a matter of taking all of the pages throughout the whole site. And, you have to go through each one and you have to translate the content on that page, and you paste in the translated content in a particular place, and you're done. So we would need somebody to be assigned to each language. And then it's just a translation effort at that point. We would also need to then think about the matching process, because the key difference with this, and the reason I like it, quite frankly, is that it is no longer a fully self-service matching platform like e-NABLE Web Central, which never really fully worked out for us. It is a human-assisted matching process. So somebody needs to actually go in and look at the map and look at where people are requesting and looking at where people are available to help, and actually making the matches, making the connections. So we will need somebody to help with that. And I'm looking at our friend Rick. I don't know if you're looking to take on something else, but you'd be a prime candidate for that. We'll have to see who else might be wanting to help with that process. So anyway, I see that as a really important effort for this year, both because of our vulnerability with the e-NABLE Web Central, and because I think it can help addressing that core challenge we've had for so long, which is having more people to help than people asking us for our help. And because I think once we have this platform and we're presenting ourselves better, that feeds into all of our outreach efforts of how we're promoting the community and getting the word out, because we're able to send them to a website that more clearly communicates what we want to communicate. So that's what I have to say on that.
So I think last time I suggested that we come up with the description of what we're looking for, and in such a way that we can ask for bids from Fiverr and a few other platforms of that sort. Jeremy, if you want to write the description, then I will post them on Fiverr.
It's a good approach. I guess we have to talk about some kind of a budget on Fiverr, but that's obviously something well within what we can approve here. Just by
the way many of these things work is they, the candidates, I think we should do it in such a way that we describe the challenge and provide the background, ask them to come up with a bid for who they are and what it would cost to do it. Let them take responsibility for working out the budget, and then we can pick and choose based on that as well as on their skill set.
It sounds good.
So just
to get bids.
Right.
All right. Well, so that's a key thing that we'll need to be working on, and as we get started in the new year here. Hold on one second. I need to adjust something here. I wasn't seeing all of you. Okay. Continuing education credits is something else that we've talked about, which I would love to see us figure out this year, because I think it would really help to, reward that educational community, which has become such an important part of e-NABLE. I'd love to be able to see students and teachers both be able to get some credits for the work they're doing with us. It's certainly relevant. I have more and more conversations these days. I just had one the other day with a founder of a school out on the eastern part of the U.S. that's all just applied learning, and they do very much like what, in fact, their school is actually located in a nursing home. It's kind of a collaborative, and they do projects where they kind of help figure out how to make the residents' lives better, and do 3D printed assistive devices and all kinds of things like that. It's just such a wonderful way for kids to learn in a way that really ties it to something, meaningful. And I'd love to see them get, be able to get some actual recognizable credits for the work they do with us. I think this international organization I found is a good path for that, but I don't think I'm the right one to actually reach out to them or try to dig into the details of what the requirements are for qualifying and that kind of thing. But I'd love to see one of our educators like John or one of the others, maybe look into that for us.
Increasingly people are using badges for that kind of thing. I'm wondering whether.
Well, the only thing I like about continuing education credits, the teachers and the students, they actually get credit at their school for it. And I don't know if the badge would allow that.
PTs and teachers, it probably makes sense. That's true.
Yeah. No, I agree. The badges are great for us ordinary folks, but I would love to be able to get some actual recognized credit hours to these others.
Well, I would punt this one to Ian, who's sort of.
I hadn't even thought of him. You're right. Yes. All right. Well, let me add an action item for myself to send him an email. Ian, about continuing education credits. Good idea. Okay. What else we got here? The other thing that I really hope that we can, I see this as kind of a key effort for this year also, is just figuring out what is our mechanism for the whole sort of task management, project management thing. We have so many things that we need to get done, so many areas that we need help with, but we haven't really figured out the mechanism of how we document those needs and get those needs in front of the community in a way that they'll actually be seen and that people will feel comfortable stepping forward and saying, yes, I'll do that one. We've never figured out. We've tried spreadsheets, we've tried wikis, we've tried posts in the hub. We've tried all these different ways of kind of putting calls out for help for different, needs, but I don't think we've ever really figured out the right approach, the right way of doing it. And I'd like to see us work on that. Any thoughts? Any ideas?
Hi.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
I have an idea. I don't think it will be a main problem solver, but it's just another way of getting a message out. I could add a section to the monthly calendar newsletter that says, needs of the month. So when people
that's a good idea. Yeah.
See that.
I like that idea a lot. It would be worth then, we wouldn't want to include like a long list of things like we actually have in there, but you're right. We'd have to think about like, what are the top few things for this month to focus on, get somebody to take those on, then we move on to the next few. I think that's a really good idea and a good way to get focus on a few of the more important items. So yeah, I can work with you on that for the next newsletter. That's a great idea.
Okay, great.
Okay, good. That's a good step in the right direction on that one, I think. Somebody in chat, Ward, had mentioned, what about something like a SharePoint site? Potentially, I think a SharePoint site's probably a little bit too heavy, a little bit too much for what we're talking about. But I did think about something like a Kanban board, where you just have, little, almost like little Post-it notes in each column, one for,
right.
needs somebody to help, and then one that, has somebody assigned and then, ready for review or whatever, or we can just kind of move it through the stages as people get involved. So some mechanism like that might be helpful. That's the thing. I don't know what that mechanism is. I don't know if we're talking about a board of some kind or a spreadsheet or a wiki or, what's going to be most effective. What's going to work. That's what we got to figure out. and I am always open to ideas. So let's start with using the newsletter as a mechanism. Let's tie in with that. Where's my hub? So, Ben got us started here where if we go to the main forum, we do have a pinned post right at the top of the forum. And right in there, we do have a volunteering needs section. So that's the first thing people see when they come to the hub. But we haven't updated this in ages. And all it really does is links to a space. And most people, of course, aren't going to take the time to click. So I think one of the things that we should do is when we do that newsletter, Sarah, and we just choose the few items that'll go into this month's newsletter, let's put those same items right here. And that'll be another way that we call attention to them. So we can use this pinned post as another part of that mechanism.
Okay, that sounds good.
Now, by the way, that particular post, it looked like is it's in the new member space or in the forum?
This is just in the main forum. It's our pinned post on the main forum. Yeah.
Got it. So I was thrown by it saying, welcome all new e-NABLE Hub members.
Yeah.
It may be that should be
welcome back. Yeah.
Reorganized.
Yeah, it's been a long time since we updated this. Look, we got a whole section here about pandemic efforts. Yeah, it's pretty outdated. So we should work on our pinned post. I don't know that I want to take the lead on that. Sarah, do you want to kind of take a first pass and just sort of update the pinned post with anything that you think is important to have in front of people?
Sure, I can do that.
Great. Let me put that down up here then. Great. Thank you. All right. Another thing that, and these are all, I think, really good, important projects for 23, collection and distribution of e-NABLE devices. We've had kind of this black hole for a while, which I think John can fill in a little bit of information on now, but we've had people for years now sending devices to two places. One was the e-NABLE Alliance that Maria was operating, and then the other was a chapter in Atlanta, Georgia that had agreed to provide a collection, inspection, and distribution point for us. But we've never been able to get any kind of information back from either place about what they've actually received, where they've gone, what's happened to them. We just don't know anything. So John, what do you know? What updates do we have, if any?
Well, as a matter of fact, I got an email from Brent, I think just today, giving me the contact information of the new person, Dawn McAllister, who is at the elementary school.
Okay, so this is the one in Georgia.
That's right. Brent is no longer at that same school, but he's also available to meet and discuss future plans. So
we should get a Zoom meeting, maybe you, me, and Brent and that new contact, if we can.
Correct. Okay, I will respond to that.
We can, if you want, here. Let me give you a Calendly link to help with the scheduling.
Well, you got that same email, so let me suggest that you reply to the email that came in at 10:30 this morning.
Oh, okay.
And stick the calendar in there.
Okay, I was CC'd on it?
Yes.
Got it. Okay, I'll do that.
And why don't you include Skip also, because he's in Georgia and
that's right, yeah.
He's in the thread, you will see.
That's a good idea, yeah, okay. All right, so that'll be collection distribution. I hope we can come up with a better mechanism there. The idea is that we would actually have a known inventory, something that any of us could look up and see, oh, hey, we've got a Phoenix hand in 120% scale in, red and blue available, and that would be nice to see, or just to see where they went. It would be one. I have people all the time asking me, hey, my students, we sent through 10 devices. Can you tell me if they ever got to anyone and where they ended up going? I'd love to be able to tell them, hey, yeah, those went to somebody in, Nigeria or whatever.
So, Jeremy, this is hot off the presses. You'll see that 18 minutes ago, Ian responded to that same thread and has already proposed a time for the meeting. So excellent. I think it's all happening. Take a look at it before you throw in that calendar link.
Of course, yeah.
In progress.
Of course. All right. What is this from? Low customization prosthetic device, tie gripper hand, TPU.
This is, I know what that is. This is, I remain keen on the the tie gripper combination. You remember,
I
showed
do. The
off.
things that could be print that don't have to be customized or scaled. They could be small, medium, large kind of things.
That's right. And it's a very nice adjustable, tightenable cuff.
Okay. And whose design is it? Is this the one that James Quilty did?
Exactly.
Okay. And I think we were trying to coordinate to get him in here, right? He just wasn't available yet.
That's true. He's somewhere on the planet, is all I know, but he's been moving around a lot. So
let's see if we can, it's after, he recovers from the holidays and stuff. Hopefully we can get him in, do a presentation in one of these meetings, and that would be a good way to educate us about this more.
Okay, I'm writing him now.
I've got my eye on that from a kit point of view. I don't know enough about what goes into it, but that could be an interesting one to support. Has anyone, I am curious, let's see, I want to look again at who's in the meeting. Okay, I haven't seen Adam Jennings for a while. Has anyone had any contact with him? Do we know if everything's okay? Is he still kind of active with us?
All I know is that on December 30th, he asked that question about the Lumio thing. So I think he's probably in the game, but has been on holiday.
Got it. Okay. I was curious if there have been any further discussion with his contact at 50 Legs. We'll follow up with him next time we see him on that. And then he needed help with the Afghanistan initiative. It really seemed like it got to a point where he's kind of losing momentum and the people there were kind of losing patience. And so we need to get some help on that, or it's probably going to fizzle.
Agreed.
I wish I had a good idea of how to help him on that. I'm afraid I don't at this point. It's a very complicated challenge.
I don't remember. It's possible he should check back with Ben, who's not heavily involved with us these days, but is still working with the Afghan community in Rochester and intermittently in Kabul.
Okay. We'll have to ask him if he's been in touch with him. You're right. He'd be a great contact for that.
I can check in with Ben about that.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
And just scanning the rest of the topics here, I don't see anything that's really time sensitive that we need to go into here today. So let me ask if anyone else here has anything at all you'd like to discuss, especially those that haven't been with us for a while. Anything at all? No topics off limits. All right.
Sarah, do you want to reach out to Julie with the David Mazer update and see if we're actually good to go again?
Sure, I can do that.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Ward also suggested Slack. I use Slack on a daily basis, nonstop, for both within my company and with several of our partners. So I would love to see us adopt Slack, but I would need to learn more about how it's used for project management, because that's something that I guess I don't use it for. We use it basically as a chat tool and collaborating back and forth, but I'm guessing there are features in here I'm not using for actually doing more of a project and task management. So I'll have to spend some time and look at this, just see how that might be a fit.
I wouldn't be too surprised if there now is a Trello-like plugin available for our Hub platform.
Well, that might be also. I don't remember. There were some limitations with plugins because we're hosting our own custom version of the Hub, but we might have to get back with Masvi to see what we can and can't do there, but that's worth looking into also. Channels. Someone joins a project, just add them to the scan. Yeah, I mean, this looks like it's all about collaborating and discussion, chatting back and forth about a project. I think it's very helpful as a communication mechanism for projects. I don't know if this has what we need to actually say, this is where our needs are, and kind of recruiting people to those needs and kind of tracking who's working on what. But like John said, there might be, how do we check real quick here? Is that, oh, we have to do that up at the main admin. And then if we go into modules, browse online. What would oh, here, Kanban. Looks like somebody already checked this. Nothing for Kanban. What else could I look for, John? Task, meetings, tasks. We do have a tasks plugin. I don't know if that would be flexible enough.
Does it have any integration with Asana by any chance?
Let's see. It looks like it's self-contained. I already put this into our main wiki forum here. We just haven't done anything with it. So you can add tasks. You can, it looks like you can add task lists. So you can have multiple lists of tasks. So, I mean, you could use this to kind of create buckets of projects with multiple tasks in each, but I'm not convinced that's the right mechanism for us.
Thank you.
What was that, Sarah? No?
Oh.
That is something that's, at least it's built into the hub. So it's something we could look at. Let's just, maybe any one of us, I mean, all of you might have ideas, poke around, see if you can find a tool that might be good, something web-based, something that, would make it easy to collect a whole bunch of different projects and present them and kind of let a community kind of keep visibility on what's happening and who's doing what. And let's talk about it next time. All ideas are welcome. Okay. I think that's a good place to wrap if nobody else has anything.
I have one thing. I'm sorry about that. I dropped something and someone picked it up for me. So I said, thank you. I am working on some questions to ask all of our chapters for monitoring and evaluation. So wanted to touch base about that next week. And make sure that everything is on the same page with monitoring and efforts and the chapter audit, and to talk about if you have any ideas for questions that I should be asking of each of the chapters to sort of figure out where we all are. Just as something to put on the agenda for next week's town hall.
Nice. Okay. Rick, do you have any input on that, or you want to talk about that next week?
Sure.
Okay.
We
tell you what, I'm just going to move our chapter audit topic up, and that's all outdated information. Let's just say questions from Sarah, and we will follow up on that first thing next week.
Great.
And yes, I agree. Who was it? Was it Jesse? Yeah, Jesse recommended Asana. I have used Asana in the past, and that might be a really good fit. So I'm going to poke around once again and look at how that might be a fit here. They have the Kanban board where you could kind of move things through phases and stuff like that. They even have old stuff in here. Look at that. So yeah, this is a good one to evaluate, and let's see what other alternatives we can find. And then
wouldn't you want to hook this right into your WordPress? I mean, standalone projects are nice, but you're looking to consolidate everything into your WordPress. Is that not the case?
Yeah, whatever we choose, we would embed. Yes, it'll all be part of one site. Yeah, but we still need to find the right platform for doing that. So anyway, to be continued. Thanks, everyone. Have a good week. See you next time.